do that shit? Unbelievable.
Just a terrible player.
Terrible.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, Donovan, can you take us through the dunk on Utah?
So I remember when I went and lost the ball on the fast break the first time. That was my intention. So this time I made sure I caught the ball. I looked to Vert, and he just kept backing up. And, I just felt good enough to try and get up there and dunk it and figure I'd just use my body and then just finish. And it worked out.
Did you sense anything in that moment of what it did for you guys?
Yeah, outside of me letting Mikal Bridges get downhill instead of being in help because I was still thinking about the dunk. Outside of that really sparked us. I feel like it kind of gave us a little bit of a boost. But, those are defining plays. Those are different, different plays for different moments. I think that's one of those things that just continue to push us, to get forward. And, it's not like I go into a game thinking, all right, I know I'm trying to get a dunk on somebody and try and get us going. But sometimes it's just what's needed. It worked out.
You left, you went back to the locker room in the first quarter, and then you came back to the bench. What happened there?
Yeah, just nausea. I think it was the food I ate before the game. Right when Finney Smith lost the ball out of bounds in the first quarter, I looked up, and I was just like lightheaded and really probably nauseous, so I ran back. Didn't throw up, still kind of feeling it, but, just I think it was just the food. I'm crazy.
Donovan, what did you see kind of in the fourth quarter, the way you guys struggled to close the game, and how you can improve on that?
We got to play as though it's not the first three quarters, and I think tonight, as good as it was to win, I don't think we're all too proud of the way it finishes. Like we're better than that, whether it's turnovers, free throws. The biggest thing was the defensive boards. Darren Sharp, did a phenomenal job on the boards. Like we got to close and win games. That's what we got. What we got coming up in the playoffs. We got to find ways to. I'm not gonna say close games. We just got to find ways to just keep our foot on the gas. Like that's really it. And I don't think tonight was our best effort at that. We did a lot of really good things tonight, and for that to be the ending is tough. But it gives us fuel for us to get better and be ready for Thursday. But I think the biggest thing was just controlling our pace, controlling different things, and making smart plays.
And I know, obviously, Evan held down at the 5 when Jay was out, but having him back, what does that just do for you guys on both ends of the floor?
Yeah, I think, you're a little more aggressive on your closeouts. There's two of them down there. We're into our rotations. We're communicating. We're talking. He brings back a voice, a presence. Jay is, I think sometimes the unsung hero. I don't think people, continuously give him the recognition he deserves for how he really anchors us. Obviously Evan, is phenomenal and deservedly so in the Defensive Player of the Year race. But Jared Allen has been this way his whole career. Just his presence down there. Being able to communicate offensively, being able to set screens, roll, get in the pocket, finish. He does a lot of things that don't really go noticed. On the stat sheet, and you see it in nights like tonight. And it's great to have him back.
Brian Loney, Associated Press. So you look up the board after the dunk a little bit there.
Yeah.
I assume you were looking for your rebound total.
No, I was trying to see it, but I forgot we're on the road. So they're definitely not going to show it. The first time I saw it was when we went back in the locker room. So, it was not bad. It's not bad. Not bad.
You've been in dunk contests. It's not exactly like you're not a dunker. I mean, it's just more like you impress yourself once in a while.
Yeah, that one I was just like, oh, okay. And everybody's reaction, they kept writing in the timeout was like, that's your best one. And I saw it, and it's up there. I don't know if it's my best one, but it's definitely up there. I'll have to go look at it and check it out.
It's on the internet.
Yeah.
Danny Cunningham, ESPN Cleveland. Can you explain what goes through your mind right after a play like that?
The dunk?
Yeah.
Typically, it's get my ass back on defense. But I didn't do that today, and they got a bucket. I've said that twice already. Like, that's really what it is. Like, I dunked on them, but I gave it up the points right back. Whoever was on ball did a great job, and I wasn't in my shift spot to deter Mikal from driving to the rim. He gets a floater. So at the end of the day, it's great to have a dunk, but, you got to get back, and you have responsibilities and duties on the other end, and I didn't fulfill my job, and that's on me. I'll be better, but, that's really the biggest thing. It's great to celebrate, get those 2 points, but, you got to find ways to contribute on both ends of the floor, and I wasn't in my spot, and we gave up a layup. So that's on me.
What did you think changed between the first quarter and the second quarter for the group as a whole?
I think our just defensive intensity. You look at the way we're scrambling, talking, and moving the ball. Offensively, like, we did a phenomenal job, but defensively we're scrambling, making it tough, cutting guys off, getting rebounds, getting out and pushing, causing turnovers, and not fouling. I think the first quarter they really kind of stayed in it and kind of got a lot of their points from the free throw line, trying to get there and draw fouls and just making it tough on them in the half court. I think that was the biggest thing from the second quarter to the rest of the game.
Valeria Rubino, Sport Italy. What did you learn from your experience in Utah with the team that helped you grow and lead this new team to be a title contender?
I think one of the biggest things is, continue to stay in the moment, continue to stay present on everything that's going on. I've had guys who are 10-year vets, 12-year vets, 15-year vets, as my teammates for the past 5 years. So now coming in as a 6-year vet, I guess you can say, just taking what I've learned from that past time, from playing in front of a phenomenal head coach in Quinn Snyder, playing with phenomenal teammates, being able to listen to their conversations, that teach me what they've seen, to come here and just kind of, use that for myself. And, it's one of those things where, it's easy when, you have that crutch, you have those guys right there to talk to and to kind of bail you out of those moments. And then, you come here and it's like, you got to be on, you got to be on for this group, and that's what's expected of me. And, you're always on, because at the end of the day, like, I'm a leader. I'm not around 12, 13-year vets. I'm with guys who haven't been, so I got to be the guy that continues to use my voice, but listen as well, and not be too naive to listen to what's going on and be able to just stay and keep us steady, and the person that does a phenomenal job who's really helped me with that was Ricky Rubio, and it's great that he's here so I can lean on him, Raul Neto as well, so we can kind of talk about our past experiences and, how we can help steady this group.
And when you hear comments about the lack of experience for a deep playoff run, do you use them as a motivation also in the locker room? Do you block them out, or what do you do to avoid it can impact the winning mentality in the locker room?
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing is control what we can. At the end of the day, we can't control that guys haven't been to the playoffs. All we can do is control how we play. And like I said, tonight's a night where we didn't finish the game we wanted to. We can fix that and control that. At the end of the day, it's your guys' job to talk about experience, non-experience, but at the end of the day, the ball's got to go up in the air. Everybody ties their shoes the same and all that. So, I think we'll be ready to go when playoff time comes. And I think it doesn't start April 15th. It starts, with nights like tonight and continue to build in our habits. And, at the end of the day, whether it's 10 years of experience or none, at the end of the day, we got to go out there and compete and execute.
Fisher with Yahoo Sports. I wanted to ask about Ricky. What particularly about his presence, his wisdom, did you really benefit from your time with him in Utah?
Yeah, his mind. I think the biggest thing is just, like I said, continue to be steady. Never too high, never too low has always been his thing. Kind of weathering the storm, whether we're up by a lot, down by a lot, it's a close game, whatever it is, continue to understand and stay in the moment, and continue to be level. I think that's something that I've always taken away from him. And you see it, now that he's starting to really look like Ricky Rubio of late, obviously, coming back from his ACL, you're starting to see, his play pick up, but also his mind's always been there, controlling and helping myself, helping Darius as well, and just helping us as a group, and I think for me, just to continue steadiness, not really overreacting to anything positive or negative, just continuing to be steady.
A good matchup from Quattro. Before this game, Nick Claxton said if that's your matchup in the playoffs, that they will take out of you. But after tonight's win, do you want to say something about this?
Huh? He said
if that's your...
He said, no, he said that?
Yeah.
Well, we have a game on Thursday. We got to be locked in for these last 8 games. And, wherever the standings match up, they match up. But, we got to do our job and take care of ourselves. And, whatever happens, happens.
Please, would you mind to allow me to call on you before you ask your questions? Evan and then Chris.
Evan Damer, right down here with Donovan. To go off what you just said, JB was stressing pregame that you guys can't be complacent down this final stretch of the season with the playoffs within reach. How important is having that killer mentality on a game-to-game basis?
That's ultimately, wins and losses in the playoffs. Not like tonight. We don't make certain free throws, certain things. They make certain shots, down the stretch. We don't win by 6 or 8, whatever it is. It's a 1-point game. Everything gets a little tighter. Offensive rebounds, they missed a few open shots, missed a bunch of threes tonight. They may make some, and that's ultimately what's the separator. So we got to continue to be consistent with what we do. We didn't do it tonight, The fact that we're discussing that as a group is something that I'm proud of, because at the end of the day, we wouldn't have discussed this at the beginning of the year, but why would we? We haven't taken the steps, and I think we are taking the steps, and not just discussing it, but getting mad getting mad is the right word, holding each other accountable, you know, in those moments. And I think that's something that just shows the growth of a group. It's not just coming from coach. It's not just coming from myself. It's coming from everybody, you know, and I think that's something that shows the growth of and the willingness, you know, to find ways to grow. And, you know, we're going to have bad nights. You know, not bad nights. We're going to have nights where things aren't perfect, but how do we respond? And we'll see on Thursday, and I think we will respond the right way. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's time. So it's here, and we'll be better.
And you had mentioned responding in the first quarter, especially for like Portland was hitting you guys a lot with like blitzing, physicality, just a lot of the line type thing. How do you feel you guys respond to that and just adjust it, just to maybe make things a little easier on yourselves?
Yeah, just understanding what we were seeing. You know, you're playing a team that had lost three in a row. They're coming out with it, you know, just being desperate. You know, they're fighting for a playoff spot. Obviously, they want to be in the play-in. So we expect that level to rise even more so on Thursday. You know, and they have a bunch of guys that have been to the playoffs in different scenarios. You know, obviously, Royce and I have been teammates in Utah. You got Mikhail, who's been to the finals. Mikhail and Cam. You got Dorian Finney-Smith, who's been over there. Dinwiddie, who was there last year in the conference finals. So they got a lot of different guys, you know, that have done it at a high level. So understanding that, you know, how we respond to those situations, whether it's a blitz, offensive rebounds, getting stops, limiting the three-pointers. Understand that what we saw tonight is going to be 10 times harder on Thursday. You know, that's a playoff series, and it's also a team fighting to stay out of the play and fighting to catch up to us. And we got to fight to stay on top, and that's part of that killer mentality that, you know, you're talking about.
Did you say anything to Royce after you fell?
At the end?
Yeah.
Oh, no. He's always a hack. That's my boy. But he's always fouling.
All right, Chris, back to our first.
You know, Donovan, at the beginning of the season, there was some wonder about whether you and Darius would work well together. Now that we're concluding the first season of you guys together, why has it been so successful, do you think?
I think you have two guys that are willing to grow with each other, you know, especially at the guard spot. You know, and I said this about Darius especially. You got to give him a lot of credit, you know, because at the end of the day, I've played with, you know, Mike, you know, I play with Ruby. I've always been ball dominant, and I've played with other guys who need the ball. This is his first time playing as like a non-dominant, as dominant, I should say, ball guard. And for him to not only play the way he's played, but improve his numbers and to be as unselfish as I am. And I knew he was unselfish, you know, but that can go, we all know, like that can go the other way, you know, and he's been, you know, a blessing for me just to be able to come in and, you know, he's like, you got it, like, you know, and kind of, you know, allow me to do my thing and vice versa. I think that's huge, you know, and like I said to you at the camp, like when Coach is pulling us aside after the first practice or second practice and saying, you guys are passing to each other a little too much. You know, that's a good problem to have. You know, and I think for him and myself, we're finding ways to continue to grow and be better. And I don't even think we've reached our full potential yet. You know, I think there's a lot of things we can be better at. But, you know, as far as it fitting, you know, it's a credit to himself, credit to him, credit to me, credit to the organization and JB, and credit to the guys in the locker room. You know, and I think for him and myself, we got a lot of room to grow. I'm excited to grow with him. And, you know, like I said, he deserves a lot of credit because not a lot of young guys, as we've seen throughout this league, are willing to share. And that speaks to his maturity as a human, as a person, and as a basketball player.